Hello and welcome to this video. This video is a reaction video to a video by Mrwhosetheboss. I've done them before and basically I've done a review on them and I've said they're basically the best tech reviewer as far as I could see. However, this is not a video about their tech reviews. This is a video about their understanding of politics, business, and all the things in between. So yeah, let's dive in. Now, for your information, I did do this video already. So if this is a little bit shorter than I intended it to be, which was like, check the timestamp, it should be over an hour. Might not be, because I have to re-record it all over again because I have a bad computer. It doesn't really work well, so it didn't record my file correctly. So yeah, anyway, let's dive back in.
What on earth is happening with Twitter? Why
Okay.
is it happening? And how are some people really excited, but others absolutely terrified about
You mean why? Not how I think I word, but anyway.
it? So, just to make sure you're all caught up, on April 4th, 2022, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world,
Not anymore. Burn off. The fellow owns Louis Vuitton. And those brands, French, Armand. I'm not gonna say it because I know it's gonna be wrong. So anyway, back.
single-handedly accumulated 9.2% of Twitter's shares, making
Interestingly speaking, he actually acquired them, illegally speaking, because when you make a big purchase like that, you're supposed to declare it, which he didn't do, which he's a track record of doing, because, well, it's a very profitable thing to do. Basically, what happens with Elon Musk is that he goes ahead and he purchases something, and he goes, okay, I bought this thing. And then he tells his fans, I bought this thing, and of course, the fans go off and go, what, if you bought that, we must go buy, we'll buy. Hey, Elon Musk bought this thing, no, let's go buy. And they all and go buy. And they all buy it up, and boom, price goes up. Point is, that's technically speaking illegal, and you could argue kind of defrauding your fans in a way, because they are making a financial investment. Anyway, you get fined for that. The fines are very small, though, like for someone who's making billions of this. So anyway, point is, he didn't say beforehand, which he was supposed to do.
him the #1 biggest solo shareholder of the company. The more shares you have, the more ownership you have.
And in this case, yes, but not technically. There are things like voting shares, and then there's things you just get a dividend. And actually, things are like, which is it's just a share. You don't get it. You don't get a voting power. There are different types of shares. Just to make that clear. Anyway, back to the video. Because just that should be made
A few days later, he then offered to buy the entire rest of Twitter.
Actually, he ended up buying an additional 70-point-something%. In total, he has 80%. The other owners are, I believe, the Saudi Arabian royal family, and I'm not sure. I believe Morgan Stanley gave him a loan, but and that's sort of thing there. So that's your other owners. Just to make that clear, and they were already invested in Twitter, by the way. Just to make it clear. So basically, I'm just saying, those are the other kingmakers. Just they're a little bit in the shadows.
For $54.2 per share, which meant that he was offering a total of around
Oh, sorry. I don't know why that's happening. Sorry. That'll be cleared up in a second.
$44 billion for the whole company. His price was reasonable.
I mean, reasonable. That's the valuation. Because obviously, see, in business, when you want to do a takeover of a company, you basically have to offer more than what investors think will occur. See, let's say I come to a business and say, okay, I want to buy up you, or like the majority of you I want to take you private. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do 60 quid per share. But all the investors are doing, well, our investment is going up on a regular basis, and it's predicted that within 2 years it'll go to 70. So why exactly would we sell to you at 60? Because you need to be offering at least 80 before we'll sell to you, because the predictions are we'll reach that in a couple of years. Why would we sell to you? So that you can make money off our backs. You're just going to buy this. You know this information, but we do too. So no, you pay more. So even you have to pay more than even just what the current share price is. You also pay as much as investors think it's very likely it'll go to. Now, maybe not as much as investors think it will go to, because you're like, well, the chance of that going there is, this much. So, you want to be safe. So investors will choose that then. That's just the thing. So yeah, you will oftentimes have to offer a little more. So that was more than what the share price was. But yeah, it is technically fair according to its valuation. Of course, Twitter, as well as Tesla, is way overvalued. So, is it actually fair for what you're getting? No. And that's the point. For a private company, it's actually not fair because that's not what it has. It doesn't have that in assets.
But not everyone loved the way that he did it. Instead of just putting in a friendly offer, he said, look, if you don't let me buy it, then I have no confidence in the way that this company is currently being run, and I'm going to dump all of the 9.2% of shares that I currently own, which a lot of people have called a hostile takeover. Well, because even without the Twitter board of directors agreeing with his buyout, he's not really given them a choice. If Elon Musk suddenly sold all of his Twitter shares, that would massively reduce the value of each share, meaning that anyone who is at all invested in Twitter is going to lose money. Yeah. And so they're all going to need that deal to go through. But then Elon did something kind of...
Now, the thing is, and this is the thing with Twitter, which is that it's not actually valued at that much. So when you buy a company, it's way overvalued. It's actually not a good idea. Because what you're doing there is you're paying the public share price, and then you're taking it private. This works if you're a big company and you say, okay, we're going to buy this company out. And you have a share price. Because then, shareholders go, okay, wait, yeah, sure, here's the thing. And then they move to your company. Because you bought it, but you're public, so we'll invest in you. And your share price goes up. That does not occur as much when you take a company private and you are private as well. Because then you have a situation, which is, if it isn't valued at this, you've just bought a company that is not worth actually how much it's worth at. It's worth that much because investors go, line go up, I'll invest, and boom, it'll go continue to go up, and I'll make money. And what occurs there? Well, investors are going, okay, well, we want to, well, what do we get? Well, what we got was this. We got the situation in which our assets, it's not worth that much. If you don't have that in assets, it's not actually worth that much. If I buy a company for, 40 billion, they've got 39 billion in assets, yeah, it's kind of worth it, I'll lose $1 billion, but, the company will grow, most likely. And even if it doesn't, if it just sort of stays what it is, I have that much in assets. But if you don't, then you're losing money if the company doesn't make it, on a regular basis. It needs to make back that 44 billion in earnings. As in, you can't just strip the company and sell it off. Which isn't great when you're a private company. Anyway, sort of
odd. He put the deal on hold because he all of a sudden felt like there were just too many fake accounts on the platform.
Interestingly, 80% of his followers are predicted to be, or are believed to be, bots. So,
and therefore that he was overpaying.
It doesn't really matter though because you signed a contract.
I mean, we use YouTube. We can relate to the bots, but
here's the thing: you signed a contract. This contract is a legally binding thing, and when you sign a contract, it's very hard to get out of it because you've agreed. Someone made you made an offer. They agreed to it. You signed. Boom. No, it's to go through. Now you can take the person to court and go, "Oh, I want to change the terms of the contract. I was lied to. I was, forced into it." All these things. You can make these excuses to get out of the contract, but you can't just get out like that. You do need to actually take the person to court, or at least threaten to. And he didn't do that. Well, maybe he did, but it doesn't really work. Anyway.
This very sudden 180 did raise the question of if he was trying to trash talk Twitter just to be able to plummet their stock price and get away with paying less. Either way, Twitter wasn't happy about that. This guy was not just trying to retract his offer, but was also soiling their reputation in the process. So they sued him.
Yeah, because,
saying that he had to pay what he'd initially committed to. And after a long, drawn-out back and forth, it seemed like Elon just went, alright, whatever.
Because it was predicted that he'd lose. Because you're just looking at this and going, okay, so you signed the contract to agree to buy this. So what are we deciding here? You signed the contract. You were told all this. You were told to do your due diligence. You signed it, though. So what you've just done there is just agree to purchase something. You were told about all this. So, no, you're not going to get anything out of this.
Screw it, I'm in. He changed his Twitter bio to Chief Twit, flew to Twitter HQ, and quite literally let that sink in.
Yeah, well, that was a bit cringy, actually.
Then things changed very quickly. He fired the CEO, Paragog.
Now, this is the thing, which is basically, when it comes to assets, keep in mind, you're Twitter, and this fella has agreed to sign this contract. He signed the contract. And imagine you are the CEO, you're the people in the boardroom, and you're going, okay, so basically, we have no assets to sell, and this is a very, very, this is a good outage. How will we sell? We will. This will be very profitable for us, because, sure, he'll most likely fire us, but we got nice big severance packages. Now, that's for the CEO. I believe it was 40 million. So yeah, that's been nice for you. What I'm saying is, effectively speaking, all the people who are making all these decisions are going to actually kind of benefit almost by him firing them. Kind of going to be good for them. Now, obviously, not people on the ground, people who actually do the jobs and do the actual work, but, it's a benefit for them. So, inherently, in this position, you're going to ask yourself, okay, so why not force him to go through with it? It's profitable for you. It's good for you. So, that's the sort of thing there. It's like, yeah, you're going to do that. Anyway.
For a while, he's got rid of staff on a scale that we've never seen before.
Now, this is how you send a message that your company is, dying/downsizing. So basically, when if BlackBerry come out and say, well, we're reducing our phone department size of staff, that sends the message that either your phone department is going. So when a company does this as a whole, it doesn't look great. Also, check the people he fired.
Taking the workforce all the way from around 7,500 to about 2,000. And he's already made 3 enormous changes to the way the company is run. One being how he's drilled down on the few employees who have stayed, scrapping the free lunches they used to get.
Which is an incentive. That's the whole point. You're stopping them from asking for more pay because you're basically giving them something and then holding it over them. Will we take it away? By taking it away and not giving them anything in return, they're just like, okay, but what do we take then? Because you've taken something from us. What do we take from you? You want us to you want us to work more. So you want us to work for longer hours, work harder, for the same pay, and you also took away the benefits. So what's the benefit?
Vetoing remote work and forcing them to come into the office, even turning old conference rooms into bedrooms because they're being pushed to work up to 80 hours per week. 2, he's amped up.
Also, before we go into number 2, let's discuss the firings. So, what's interesting about the firings is that they break a large number of consumer laws. You see, basically, if you're a company and you want to fire a bunch of people, you have to give notice. This happens in America. It happens more in other countries which have better employee laws. For example, in my country, there was a senior executive who was given a message whether she wanted to resign or not, and she didn't respond. They just took it as, yeah, you want to resign, and terminated. She was like, but I didn't resign though. You can't just fire me because I didn't respond. That's not how employee law works. So she got a court. They aren't allowed to fire her. Because inherently, when you break employee law, yeah, that breaks employee law. You can't just go about the place going, yeah, no, you're gone. Also, the whole firing people, that also breaks employee law. So yeah, there are multiple class actions now against Twitter because they broke employee law.
Twitter's monetization by making the Twitter Blue subscription, which previously allowed you to edit tweets, now twice as expensive.
Great idea, and that is a like when inflation is high and when you say, okay, you know what, we wanna increase our revenue, so let's increase the cost to buy our non-essential product on a free service. Yeah, great idea. Yeah, because that's how you get customers to give you more money by making the thing more expensive when they don't need it.
But justifying it by adding the additional perk of giving any paying subscriber the verified tick,
so that you can know that this person, well, they paid for a platform that's free.
Next to their name. Oh, and a sub to the channel would be beautiful. Not to mention his seeming intention to turn Twitter into yet another video platform.
Which is going to cause massive problems, because you might not know this, but you see, with Twitter, one of the interesting things that there is there's a text limitation. So basically, currently, it means that if you want to, let's say, tweet out an entire book, you're going to find that complicated. You're going to have to do it in, small bursts. And you could probably get a bot to do it, but it's still going to be out in small bursts, With a video, you don't have to do that. To break copyright law, you just need to, have video. So you're going to need to build a system like YouTube, which is Content ID, where people are able to flag copyright and go, remove that, please. Which is going to lead to abuse, as it does on YouTube. And, it's going to lead to a lot of lawsuits if you don't.
He started pushing for ads on videos, just like YouTube.
Which is,
And he's even said,
where are you going to get the ads?
He's going to offer a higher percentage cut than
which is not how, we're going to increase our revenue by reducing the share that we get. That's how you make money. You make less of a percentage. Also, first of all, you need to have, the viewers, the advertisers, and the creators. So
them to content creators. And then 3 is Elon's take on what should be and what shouldn't.
Also, I should mention, creators is, I actually kind of hate that term, because it's not really true. Is this creative? No, it's not. It's me speaking. This is just not creative. How exactly is this creative? Oh, because I'm opening my mouth, am I? Is that creative? Because I'm speaking the words. Oh yeah, sure, that's very creative. No, I'm just someone speaking into a microphone that's recording my voice. This time. But you know what I mean? That's just the thing. It's, that's not creative. Anyway, that's just a side issue. It doesn't really matter. It's not related to this video. Back to the video.
Be allowed on Twitter. He started reinstating accounts that were previously banned, including Donald Trump, who was taken off initially for inciting the riot of the Capitol building.
That coup, the second coup in American history. Yeah, that one.
And what all of this has led to is, frankly, chaos. Big-name celebrities have publicly said they're quitting, advertisers have pulled their spending, and every day you read a new report that basically says the company...
Now, okay, so... We'll read back.
Advertisers...
So, I had a couple of accounts on Twitter that I created, and, yeah, interesting story. So, actually, it's not interesting, but anyway, point is, so I created these accounts just before this thing happened, and basically it felt like I was being, personally being attacked by this, because I created them because I heard people, it's very good idea. Basically, you create multiple social media accounts, and then they all funnel into a YouTube channel, and basically you grow on Twitter, and then your Twitter followers go and watch your YouTube videos. Fine. I'll give it a go. Created the accounts, Then, a few weeks later, this moron. No, states he wants to buy Twitter. It's like, Jesus Christ. So I deleted them. Then I later created another account by mistake because I needed to view something, which I wasn't able to delete then. So that's annoying. But yeah, so I'm counted as one of those new signups. I don't want to be, though. But anyway, yeah, that's just a little there.
Have pulled their spending.
Yeah, because, basically, breaking down the advertising thing. So basically, if you're a advertising company and you are, you're making a couple of million. The thing is, you're not actually the company. You're an advertising company. It means that companies, a bunch of them, give you money and then you advertise. This means if all the major brands work with one advertising company, that advertising company pulling their ads will mean ads from all these big names. So, this is actually going to be one of these things. Twitter is not actually a big ad spend. So, this happens a lot with actually advertising, which is advertising actually doesn't really work a lot. So, if you're an advertising company, you don't really want to be telling people that, your advertising doesn't really work. So, they try to suppress that. Because if they don't get advert money, they don't get to make as much money. So, imagine if you see Twitter go there and you're like, okay, so Twitter is beginning to become a platform where it actually gets negative. You get actually negatively impacted by this. Like if you're a company, you're negatively impacted by this. You're selling your product, you're negatively impacted. So you're going to go, okay, so if we tell our customers this, they're not going to be too happy. And they're going to want to, stop giving us so much money. So, how about we just pull all the ads and take this money here and just take it away and just give it to somebody else. Put it on YouTube or Google or whatever the case may be. Because that way we still get the money, and so if we have to take it away from Twitter, that's the thing. So obviously this is what happened here. Like that's just one of the things. So just to make people aware.
And every day you read a new report that basically says the company is burning down from the inside out.
I think it's more like, okay, so, for example, like hate speech went up, the use of the N-word specifically by 500% when it took over. Firing all the employees. Besides all the lawsuit that's going to cause, and they're probably going to win, let's face it. You're going to have massive issues with, like, you just don't have things. Like, for example, the moderation team. That's caused a couple of things, which is there's a backlog now of like tweets that have been flagged and need to be checked out by the moderation team, which has not been checked out because the moderation team was sliced. So now you backlog. But also, by telling the world, oh look, the moderation team is reduced, that encourages people to spew this. And then they see there's a backlog and they spew and spew and spew and spew and spew, and it doesn't get checked and doesn't get removed. So there's more spewing out, spew, and all of this builds up. And as it builds up, it means even if you hire the moderation team back, they can't cope, because if you don't tell the world the moderation team is back until the moderation team just flatly just removes every single tweet that's flagged, if they have to go to every single tweet that's flagged, you're going to have a problem, because they're not going to get able to get through that, because now your amount of tweets that are awful, just awful, like racist, homophobic, like all these things, just terrible stuff, like death threats, all of them, they just explode. And now, how do you deal with that? Because now you need to hire more people,
This is fine. But is there a method to this madness? Does Elon actually know exactly what he's doing?
No.
What's the reasoning behind all of this?
Well, he wants to do the whole remove all the moderation sort of thing.
Oh, we can start to build a picture by looking at what he said when he first made the offer.
Okay. First of all, I would not ever trust when someone like from a company is like, yes, this is what I plan on doing. Like, yeah. Don't trust the person. Trust what you hear from the inside. No, I don't mean like that. I mean like trust what actually they do. It's not. Don't trust what comes out of their mouth.
Didn't do it because it would
Now, here's the thing. This was a message to Twitter advertisers because he realized, oh, wait, they're going to leave, aren't they? Which they did.
be easy. I didn't do it to make money. I did it to try and help humanity. And
oh, really? Did you know? What's that? Hmm? Oh, yes. Plans on leaving the planet and fucking off with a couple of servants and maybe a few other billionaires.
while it's hard to take that
So, no, fuck off. Elon Musk does not love humanity, or to help humanity. Also, burning Twitter to the ground would actually probably help humanity, to be honest. It's not really a force for good, is it? Let's be honest. Under him or anybody's leadership, it's not going to be a force for good. Really. I mean, there are better ways to manage a company. Not the way it's run, not the way it was run before, and not the way it's run now. Definitely.
completely at face value, given how he nearly backed
Also, it's him, as a message to advertisers. Wouldn't trust that in the slightest. Just saying.
out on the basis that he was paying too much. If all he wanted to do was to just get even richer, then there were a million easier
Yeah, he's doing them though.
ways to do it than offering.
That's the point. He's doing those. Before he invested in this and his net worth collapsed. Not collapsed, like that sounds like no. I mean, like, as in it dropped significantly. He was almost at 300 billion. Now, that's it basically. 300 billion is about like a ninth of how much. So he spent about a ninth of his net worth at the time, almost on Twitter. So if I spent about a ninth, that would be the equivalent of me going out and purchasing like a phone for like 200 quid. That's the equivalent. So imagine you go out and you spend 200 quid on a phone, and someone says to you, wow. I mean, clearly you're not trying to make money because, like, you bought a phone for 200 quid? Wow. You're spending a lot of money there, bucko. I mean, like, I don't think so. I mean, like, you can still make money off the rest of it, like, What you do with, like, a ninth or an eighth of your worth is, like,
44 billion
not exactly, gonna...
for a company that's losing money almost every single year. Yeah. Twitter's financial
that's the point, though. It's,
situation is not good, but we're getting.
Also, for information, interestingly speaking, one very, 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 very interesting thing about it. I wonder, does anyone read The Sun? Because The Sun is actually predicted, it's actually known to make no money as a profit. But guess what? The old Murdoch fucker makes actually very little money from most of the things he owns, Rupert Murdoch. But you know what he does get? He gets a very, very large amount of political power. A very large amount of power to crush companies, crush politicians. Through lying, mostly. And that sort of thing. And also, like, just not reporting on stories that are important. So, when you buy a platform like that, you can censor your politicians, you can censor your people. So, that really means if a little government comes along to you and says, oh, we just want to censor this person, but we don't really want to make it public, because if we make it public, then it's, like, obvious. So, like, that makes us look bad. So, you just don't let them, publish anything. Here's a couple of billion to follow our lead. See what I mean? So, that makes a lot of money. Secretively. Into your hands, by the way. Not into Twitter itself. Into direct ownership hands. Bribery is obviously going to be is a massive thing that will occur. And, basically that's the thing. So, also, someone who's really pathetic and, can't really stand up to people criticizing them. Yeah, if they've got the money to basically buy out the platform that they've been criticized on, they might do that.
There. Plus, I mean, look at the guy's other businesses. Elon owns Tesla, that's pushing us towards eco-friendly electric cars.
I gotta speak this down. So, let's break down the whole eco-friendly cars. So, now, the cars are, let's say, death traps. So, basically, you get trapped inside, the car burns up because of the battery exploding, which is not good, and you get trapped inside. Now, the thing is, in order to put out that fire, you know what the firemen have to do? They have to use CO2. Because electrical fires, unlike petrol diesel fires, you can't just shove water on. You can't just go, fire, stop. You have to go, fire, stop expanding. We will have to let you just burn out, though. Which, if you've noticed, is not great. Cars burning is, cars are going to release a lot of CO2 if they're doing that. Keep in mind, you're also releasing CO2 by putting the fire out. Well, you're actually not putting it out, that's the point. You're not even putting it out, you're just stopping it from expanding and then letting it burn out when it no longer has any fuel. Which means all that CO2 that's in the car, all that methane, all that stuff, that's all going into the sphere. And then, that's how you get your climate change there. Also, when it comes to your lithium batteries, they're really not great for the environment. Now, there's a slight, obviously they're better than petrol and diesel, except they're not actually better than petrol and diesel for the place where they're made. For example, if you go to the areas that they're mined, the mining is not good for the environment, and all that leaking into like rivers is deadly to the people who need those rivers. So basically, it's like worse for the environment where it's mined, where it's made. It's worse for the people who actually have to work with it. But of course, it's better for the environment for the rest of us who aren't there. But also, you're making it worse for them. So it's like, okay. I mean, it's still not good for the environment though, because it still requires a lot of CO2 to make. So, okay, well, but there's no alternatives, right? Well, not there are alternatives. There's sodium, and some Chinese manufacturers, for example, have said they're going to move to sodium. So Tesla is not actually a very eco-friendly car in comparison to other cars. Many other cars are actually more eco-friendly. Just to make that clear to you. So, they're not leaders in eco-friendly cars. Just to make that very damn clear.
SpaceX that's trying to make humanity an interplanetary species.
Humanity, or a specific section of humanity, i.e. the billionaires and their slaves. Sorry, servants. They'll be slaves eventually, because,
And Neuralink, who's finding a way for our brains to be able to directly communicate with machines.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would never have the free will to have Neuralink put anything near me, because no way. Seriously. Like, I would trust Facebook worse than that. But I think that's pretty much it. It'd be Facebook, Elon Musk, and everybody else. Below that. Because no way. At least with, like, the American government or the Chinese government, at least, they're the ones who have the power. They're unlikely to somebody else. The Chinese government, if they put a chip inside your head, they're unlikely to go, oh, Germany, you want to do this? Okay, here's the keys. They go, we will keep the power. But for Elon Musk, he'd be like, yeah, you want to control this person? Okay, here you are, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, what do you want to do? Okay, yeah, engineers, do this. Hey, and this person wants to do this. Yeah, solve it. Yeah. That's not a chance that they have that. Because, whoa, no.
While of course he is making money from them, the point is they are
true government subsidies.
All also big picture, progressive companies.
Yeah, for your information, Aaron, basically, have you noticed the way Tesla is incredibly racist? A lot of its companies are very, 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 very racist. Very racist. And Twitter has obviously always been incredibly racist, but, like the actual managers in the factories are, they should be fired, actually, for what they've said to people. Not very nice companies. Also, anti-union, which is pretty bad. Almost as, I'd say probably worse, almost, than Amazon, because it's, Jeff Bezos himself is not, actively smashing unions himself, I would say. It's more like, yeah, I want to make money, you do that thing. And then his managers do the whole thing. So that's it. But Elon Musk is actively, very publicly anti-union.
Companies that are carrying the global population into the future.
Yeah, once again, I don't think they are, though. See, now, this is going to be depressing. So, just a warning for you, no, I'm not, I'm joking. But I'm just saying, this might be a bit depressing for people watching, but basically, people have this idea that humanity was continuing forward and we'll all be fine. Yes, individual humans may die, but as a whole, humanity will go forward, and I'm sure it will. The billionaires, the slaves, they'll live on. But the rest of humanity will not. Whether we get Nazis in power or not, what's going to happen is this. As these progress, we're going to see an increase in immigration towards the global north. Well, yeah, sort of like west and east and north. And, it's going to occur, and we're going to see people, because they need to leave. They can't survive. They're a mix of sea levels rising and deserts expanding. Just land not being viable to live on. And, it's going to continue on, and governments are going to go, no, we don't want you people, all this sort of stuff, and they're going to say, and they're probably going to kill and murder a lot of them. But then they're going to realize those people were impacted first, but they're not going to be the last. More people will get impacted, and more land goes below the sea, and certain areas get colder and become inhabitable, and certain areas become hotter and become uninhabitable, and it begins to move more and more. And countries like England, I don't know, all these countries, at first they'll live on and go, it's more difficult, but we can live through this. And yes, a good portion of people will die, but the people who are I will be able to survive. But then it'll get worse and worse, and countries will become colder and colder and become part of themselves. And eventually, all these countries will become in that. No one can live there. And all those countries that killed all the people who tried to come there, they themselves will die. Of course, the rich and powerful of those countries will be fine. And politicians who made all those decisions will be fine. Well, unless they die first from natural causes. Natural. But basically, this world is going to go through a lot of pain, a lot of torture. And this is the idea of you can solve it. No. This is happening. And why do you think Elon Musk fella is building a rocket? Building a company, this boring company, to tunnel through Mars. Why do you think he's doing that? It's so he can leave. And so he can go off. Won't have to die. And, that's the thing. That's the future. Interestingly, Mars is not really viable for humans. We'd pretty much die there. So, you know what? Go off, Elon. Go ahead. Try it. Get fucking killed. I'm joking. Well, maybe. Maybe. Anyway, back to the video.
So I can believe that there's at least an element of truth to his noble reasons for acquiring Twitter. Elon has said a few times that he sees the platform as the digital town square of the future. In a world where people are meeting less and less physically, he's saying that it's incredibly important to still have a common place where...
This is a thing which I discussed before in a previous video. And it's kind of, not really interesting. I mean, kind of put myself up. No, it wasn't interesting. But what I'm saying is, it's just a little comment I made. Because if you don't know, in this world of ours, we have a little bit of history. And the history is, in town squares, what would happen is, if you were, a very bad person, or even just very insulting to the wrong people, like your king or your people in the high command, or just, like if you were just a poor person, you insulted the Lord. What happened is that you'd be taken out and you'd be hung in the town square. Public hangings. This is what they had. Basically, there you'd have all the people and they go, hey, yay! And they'd all clap and cheer as people were hung. People were murdered by the state. And everyone in the town would watch and they'd have a good day of it. And that's what you had. And yes, a lot of countries have stopped doing this. They keep their executions private. Other countries have not. I don't really think it makes a difference. It's a bit sadistic to watch it, but it doesn't really make a difference if the country actually makes it public or not. Yeah. It doesn't make a difference if people go and watch it or not. That's sadistic, but I think it's more just like, you can't be that. You can't be that person. You're not allowed to watch, rather than people have decided not to watch. Anyway, basically my point is inherently is that we see this, and my question is, if Twitter is the digital town square, where are our public hangings? Where will they be? Where will they be? Let's find out, shall we?
Where people can come together, be able to say what they want to say, and have healthy, non-biased debates about...
No. Everyone is biased. Just in general. I'm biased. Arun's biased towards Elon Musk because weirdly a fan, I think. Or else he's extremely, extremely prone for some other reason. Possibly investment. Anyway, point basically is that inherently everyone is biased. You're actually kind of a strangely, almost weird person if you're not biased, and it's kind of how you get, like, Nazis. Because if no one is there to say, no, actually, we won't just vote for you because you're the popular candidate. We won't just vote for you. Like, what happens when it comes down to voting? Do you just vote for the person? Like, why do you vote for a person? Do you just not vote? Okay, if you don't vote, well then, that's not democracy, really, is it? If you don't vote, and that's how you get Nazis. This video will be a lot about how you get Nazis, actually, because, yeah, Nazis are growing.
About important topics. Okay, fine, but if his mission is so noble and humanity-focused, why is he firing everyone?
Okay.
It definitely doesn't feel very empathetic, but you could build a pretty strong case that he's in a situation where he kind of has to.
Except, this is how you send a message that your company is downsizing, which is actually kind of fine if you're a private company. Except, it doesn't really work when you're a company that needs to obey laws that require people to enforce, to make sure you don't break laws. So, take moderation, for example. There are laws that require moderation. Twitter was originally the free speech utopia where Nazis and death threats and, pornography was you basically free. The problem with this is that what happened was governments began to go, wait, hold on a second. This is not okay. So they require these companies to ensure that they don't just break these laws. So there are laws in place to stop companies like Twitter from just doing this. So if you want to enforce that and not be banned, for example, let's take the European Union. The European Union has certain laws in place that you can't just have a company that just lets all this out, because if it does, and if it's big enough, it'll get banned. A company will get banned from supplying its services in the European Union. Now, I would argue, ban Twitter, okay, you know what, go ahead. But that's the point. So you, as a European Union, for example, will say, okay, you need to ensure there's this level of moderation. So, okay, obviously you need to hire people to do this moderation. So if you don't do that, then you're going to break the laws, and then you'll get banned. And when you get banned, you'll lose access to that market, and that'll impact your advertising, or in fact just your if you have a subscription model, your subscription model, because people will no longer be able to get your service. And that's sort of the point. Is that not going to impact your business? Is that not going to hurt your business? By an entire area just blackout for you? I would argue it would hurt your business. So let's be honest with this. Like that's just
We should be very clear about something, that even before Elon Musk took over Twitter, this company was not in a good position. While Twitter is huge in terms of cultural impact, that's only really because of the types of people that it attracts. Influencers, politicians, world leaders.
You could argue that world leaders feel like they're forced, like, oh, what? Twitter? Oh, tweet. Hello, people of the country. That sort of thing. It's like, so...
It doesn't actually have that many monthly active users, and it's also very poor at accurately targeting adverts at...
This is where, see this? This is an ad I got before that's called Polestar 2. It's actually a Tesla competitor. It doesn't use sodium batteries on other Chinese companies, so it... But anyway, the point is, this is a car that I might well like to buy. I might well go, yeah. I'd love to go ahead and buy an electric car. Oh wait, but I don't have the money, and YouTube should know that. This YouTube channel at the moment does not make any money, and probably 99% chance it never will make any money. So they should know that I'm not exactly a person who can afford a Polestar 2. So why exactly are they sending me these adverts? Surely, what's the point? It doesn't matter how much I want to buy the product. It doesn't matter how much they instill real want to buy the product. Without, breaking into a bank and stealing money or something like that, I'm not going to be able to buy the product. If you steal the product, well then that means a cost to the business. So that's not going to really fly well with them. So I have to get the money, but I don't have the money. So when exactly am I going to be buying the product? Instilling it in the future? Well, no. By the future, that product will be gone. It'll be out of date. I probably will never be able to afford that. And that's the point. Why would I go out and get a... also, to keep it clear, I couldn't go out and get a bank loan. Bank would just laugh at me. Your finances, no. This would be like a long-term, extremely long-term loan like this. No, we're not going to give you a loan for this. Why wouldn't I go to the bank and get a loan for $2,000 or $1,000 and buy a cheap petrol diesel car? I don't want to buy a petrol diesel car. I'd love to buy electric. That would be I'd love to buy the sodium car there, but I'm not going to be able to afford it, am I? So it doesn't. At the end of the day, that's this kind of target advertising is mostly a myth. Because I have to ask, have you ever bought anything from a YouTube ad? Because I don't think I ever have. I once downloaded a free app, which probably stole all my info, that a YouTuber recommended to me because I liked them and I wanted to support them, but I deleted it afterwards because it was awful, yeah, on them, I guess, endorsing, rubbish ads, but rubbish games, but that was, a sponsorship, so, it wasn't usually bad.
At the few users that it does have. And so, given that advertising is the engine that basically allows the entire internet to run, by not doing...
Well, there are many companies that use a subscription model, or a partial subscription model. It's just that advertising is... The problem is, subscription models are also not very dependent either. Basically, if you create a subscription model system, well, what happens when people stop subscribing? Like Netflix. Netflix didn't use ads. It's like, well, that makes the more they have a... But then when people started unsubscribing, their stock price begins to collapse. Because subscribers are linked with adverts. Yes, the point is, more people viewing your stuff means more ads. Or, more people subscribed means more people subscribed. If people leave, they stop paying their subscription, or if they just stop watching, you lose ads, or you lose subscriptions. And because subscriptions are paying more money, as a whole, generally speaking, you're gonna find a bit of a problem with like, relying on consumers, So you want to diversify. It's not gonna look good for you, Neither is very dependable.
Very well, Twitter's actually been making a loss in 6 of the last 8 years. And so, imagine this. You're an advertiser. You're already a little hesitant about advertising on Twitter. What are you going to do if this new CEO suddenly comes in? He's not announced any clear future plan. He wants...
As I said, 500% use of the N-word, they instantly join. That's not going to look too good, is it now? And also, as I said, when you look at it, Twitter's a small fry for them. If you're an advertising company, you're going to pull that. No. We don't want to lose that money. We do not want to lose that money. At all. We want to continue getting paid all this money from all these companies so we can take a nice little cut off each time. So, take that money, put it elsewhere, and boom. There we go. That's the thing. Ads often make very little money back. It's kind of a perception of... But the fact is, if you're an advertising company, you do not want to be associated with that, because that's less money. That's people going, I don't like that company because they did that. They put that was disgusting. Like I've seen it before with ads that are just repulsive, disgusting ads, and that has made in my mind that's gone never ever buy from that company. If I got a gift that was a product from that company, I'd be like, I want to return this because I do not want to support that disgusting behavior. If someone on Twitter, you're gonna go, I don't want this. No, don't want this. Not. Oh, I don't want this. I'm not interested in this. It's, I actually do not want this. Take it away.
To make it a platform with far less censorship and therefore more controversy.
Yeah, it's like, that's how you get Nazis.
And half the things he has tried have gone really badly. Like how giving everyone the option to verify themselves has allowed scammers to...
That wasn't a scam, that was a joke about how insulin should be free, which, let's face it, it kind of should. Like, if we're being honest, like, let's be honest for a second. Insulin is like 10 times the price to produce. That's 1,000 times, 1,000% profit. That's more than any of your big profit margin companies. That's more than Apple has a profit margin of. Keep in mind, like 10 times. That kills people. This company murders people because of their greed. So yes, it should be free. It can get funding. They own a patent. Guess what? Other companies and other people would be perfectly willing to make it for free. The actual producers sold it for $1 because they said, no, we want to let this be, because it's a life-saving medication. We want it to be free. They patented it, and boom. Now you have to pay for it like that. So no. This company, not nice. They certainly are like this.
To pretend to be big companies, make false announcements, and then plummet that.
Okay, this is actually, like, this is really, 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 like, this is bad. This is a bad thing to do. This is actually false.
That company's entire stock price.
Incorrect. They tanked it in the sense that they tanked it if you invested, a week before. But, what if they invested, and I know this is my company, a year before? They would have gotten a 30% increase. Yeah, that seems to me like it's BS. They didn't collapse this company's stock price because they would have a 30% increase if you invested a year before. That's not actually really affecting a stock, is it though? Yeah, it's down significantly unless you invested before because they made loads of gains, so it doesn't really matter,
As an advertiser who's got to plan your spending months in advance, you're not going to want to be within a mile radius of that situation. And so, brands have been pulling out left, right, and centre. There are activist groups actively
Where'd you go?
writing to companies to tell them to stop advertising on Twitter.
No, I think it's more just... No, the thing is, right, it's not companies. It's advertising companies. Advertising companies see this and go, no, out. And that's the point. When they pull out, they bring loads of brands. All of these major brands are not actually individually saying we want to pull. It's the company they're working for is going, we're going to pull. Okay? Yeah, it's okay. Pull.
It's got to a stage where, as of the last announcement, the company is losing $4 million per day because it's just not making enough revenue. And then it gets even worse, because in order to actually...
Wait, well, sorry. Okay. Okay, this is actually very dodgy, because legally where? Do you mean the highest place? Because then you're actually going to be nice, and it's like, well, what about the American employees who have significantly less? But what if you're saying under the lowest place? So the lowest place is legally required. See, 50% is a very dodgy statement there, because different countries, different laws. Some countries, say you can't just fire someone and give them a redundancy instantly. You have to give them notice. That thing, that's breaking employee law. There's no legally thing there. Legally required means you have to keep them on and then tell them, and then,
because it's just not making...
Also, you have to give them a reason why you're firing them.
Enough revenue. And then it gets even worse, because in order to
And you're not making enough revenue, it's not really argument with like, well, they never did.
Actually pay $44 billion in upfront cash to buy Twitter, Elon also had to personally...
Had to is not, strictly speaking, true. He could have sold his stock. But of course. Yeah. Wouldn't want to do that, would he?
Borrow billions of dollars, which...
From Morgan Stanley and the Saudi Arabian family.
Need to be paid back.
Which I have to ask, might be one of those, as I said, kingmakers behind the thing. So, you should be concerned as to, who exactly,
He's lost, no joke, hundreds of billions off the value of his Tesla company, in part...
I know. Second richest man now.
Part because it seems like less people want to be associated with his brand image now, and in part from people feeling like he's now going to be stretched so thin that he won't be able to run the company properly anymore.
It's not just that, though. It's inherently, if you're an investor, and you're like, okay, we run this, we invest in this company. And basically, the company's made up of stupid people. Like cryptocurrency, it's basically like, okay, so if there's a scare, and it's not really a valid scare, actual investors wouldn't be afraid, but the regular fella on the street with their cash is going to be scared. Is going to be scared because they're being told their investment is going to drop. Their investment is going to collapse. So what do you think? You think what they're going to do? And you're right. They're going to go off and they're going to sell. Now, the reason why this is a problem is because the entire Tesla thing is way overvalued. It is way, 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 way overvalued. And the problem with being way overvalued is that means there's a long way to fall. A very long way. And the problem is the entire Tesla valuation is lifted up by all these foolish Elon fans. And when they see, oh no, the valuations, they pull. And So of course if you're an investor, you're going to go, well, they're going to pull, so we're going to pull as well. Before they can pull. You pull. And then it just collapses. It doesn't really collapse because someone is moving away. It's the impression that because they're moving away, stupid people will think that means the money that the company will be less profitable. I don't really see why you think that. Elon Musk does fuck all for all the companies he does. He just pays people to do the jobs. There's no real reason to think Tesla will be harmed by it. But by people thinking they'll be harmed, that causes people to sell. And that's the point. Elon Musk has many employees. He just chucks money employees and boom, there you go. Solve it. Do this thing. There's no reason to think that. He just fuck all anyway. So yeah, there's not really anything there. But of course, that's the thing. Doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be an actual reason why that would collapse. It just, like, Tesla's not really selling cars anyway. Not really.
Long story short, this is a man who really needs Twitter to turn around financially. And the way that he's having to do that is to make Twitter run more like his other, more efficient company.
Okay, let's break this down. Neuralink, I'm not really going to talk about them because I don't know as much about them. But SpaceX makes all of its money, most of its money off of government subsidies through NASA. So you see, SpaceX does the majority of NASA missions, does the majority of NASA research. So basically, NASA pays them a good bit of cash to do these things, which basically means that, what was that?
And the way that he's having to do that is to make Twitter run more like his other, more efficient companies do.
More efficient? Wow. Looks like SpaceX is mostly run off of the government. So this is actually the side thing I have to talk about. I do not see the point in governments paying with your tax, like, for private companies. What is the point of that, exactly? So I'm sitting here, and I'm going ahead, and I'm going to pay my tax, okay? And I think, okay, the government will supply services for this. And the government turns around and goes, yeah, okay, yeah, we need to build some roads, we're going to spend a bit of money on rockets. Okay, so for research. Okay, I guess that's good. You do some research, yeah, that's good. Private company, whatever. Would you just do some research for us? We just need to research in rockets, and you private company that you could do. Okay, what would you like now, huh? What would you like for the job? How much? Here you go. Oh, there's tax money there. Yeah, this is great stuff, isn't it? This is great middleman for some reason. There we are. Oh, you want a bit of profit? Okay, well, here's a bit of money there. Oh, there we are. Yeah, this is great, isn't it? Oh, wait, no, it's not. Why exactly are we paying private companies through the government? I'm not arguing that we should just, have all the private companies do it themselves. No, that would be stupid. I'm not saying that. I'm not like that. What I'm saying is, why exactly are we doing it through the government? Why is the government doing this? So why exactly do we have the government giving NASA a massive lump of money, and then NASA just giving SpaceX the lump of money? What's the point in that? SpaceX is a for-profit company. Their other money, by the way, is by giving trips to billionaires. So, yeah. Really, companies are for the people, isn't it? And finally, Tesla. Now, Tesla is, what's that thing? Oh, yes, also funded by government subsidies, and that's what's keeping it alive. Tesla did not function for many years, and, let me see. What's this? Oh, yes. So Tesla gets most of its money by selling carbon credits. And you know where they get the rest of the money? By selling cars? Well, guess what? That's what we call a Ponzi scheme. Basically, when you go ahead and you pre-order your Tesla car, you know what they use that money for? Building somebody else's Tesla car. And then when somebody else gets their pre-order, you'll get your Tesla car. Who's the person in the last chain? Are they fucked up? Yeah, they are, yeah. Yeah, the thing is, they use pre-orders from cars to build factories and to build the Gigafactory. So, yes, all those car plants, yeah, great stuff. They were built using car money, and then they needed to build cars. So they took in pre-orders and used those pre-orders to make cars. That's why there's all these things. It's also why there's a shortfall on people who pre-ordered these cars for years and years, but they haven't gotten them because that money was used to make cars for people who pre-ordered before. So yeah, that's the problem. So yeah, that's your Tesla income. Comes from carbon credits, which are very dodgy. They're basically just used for companies to just look more environment friendly than they are, and from a Ponzi scheme system, allegedly. Anyway, that's just a little explanation of your income there. So yeah, indeed. What was that again? What type of companies?
The way that he's having to do that is to make Twitter run more like his other, more efficient companies.
Oh, more efficient, yes.
companies do, where you have fewer staff, less corporate structures, and more just everyone doing a bit of everything. And
which is famously a bad idea for efficiency. See, the thing is, this is what you do when you're a sadist. You go, okay, so you do this job. But I can't do this job. I mean, you do this job or you get in trouble now. Do the job. You know, this is your job now. You wouldn't want to be fired, would you? It's actually foolish. You're not supposed to do this. It's a thing. Because the whole point is, you specialize. You do what you're good at. And that's the job you do. That's the whole idea. Now, I don't necessarily agree that you should then force them to work really long hours doing that job, because that takes, the joy and efficiency out of it. But you certainly don't go, well, yeah, you're really good at doing this job, or so go off and do this one. But I can't do that. Go off and do that one. I'm the boss. You follow what I say, and you do that job. That causes problems. Also, industrial disputes. You can actually get lawsuits over that, because that's not what the job is. The person is supposed to be doing. Just saying.
To give these employees something tangible to strive for, to justify the insane hours he's asking from them, because naturally working for Twitter isn't quite as inspiring as trying to land people on Mars.
Yeah, people, don't you worry. You're working for Elon Musk so he can fuck off and leave the planet and leave the rest of us to die. Lucky you get to save a billionaire and you're fucked because he doesn't need you anymore. Great! That's what I love to strive for, Saving other people's lives so they can say fuck you and let me die. No, actually, I don't want to do that. The only time I will ever do this is if I'm forced. Just saying. So, no.
He's created this idea of Twitter 2.0.
Also, long or something I don't...
This not quite yet defined concept.
New user sign-ups, that's mostly from Nazis, because they, obviously see, Elon Musk is over, we can join Twitter now, yay. Hate speech is impressive lore. I believe the graphic was from a very specific time, so dodgy. It's actually up. But, down from when it started, the graphic. Also, these spikes here, they already took over, so, and, yeah, advertising and entertainment, that already exists. When companies have nice subtle advertising, which is, by the way, a lot smarter than their video advertising and stuff. They have like a promoted tweet where it's like, yeah, and then that's an ad. It's a subtle ad. It's not even an ad where you just buy a product. It's a brand ad. It's brand. There you go. Our brand is here. Duolingo, all these things, all these companies, they have nice Twitter accounts where they post things. Sometimes they're very weird. They're to basically attract attention. So you go, ha. And then it's in your mind, this company. And then when they serve you an ad, or you're walking by a shop, or you're online, and whatever, you buy the product. That's the idea. It's actually more efficient psychologically than brute force ads, because if you've said, we got this product and you can buy the ad, and click the link. By the way, you can click the link and you can buy the ad. Not buy the ad. No, you can buy the product. Come on, buy the product. That often doesn't work. Skip ad, or you can't skip the ad. Come on, you're interrupting content I want to watch. Come on, or you're interrupting the tweet I want to see. Come on, maybe. I don't like to watch this. Sometimes you're able to click away, sometimes you're not. But it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, that's not really actually creating a good impression. But with this, or more subtle advertising, it's like, oh, this brand. It's more subtle and more effective.
But that basically translates to Twitter. But good. Alright, so what does this mean for us? Before we get to the bad, let's talk about the good.
The good, okay.
Elon Musk seems to have no filter.
That's a good thing, apparently. That he's, endorsed, Republicans. That's a good thing. Yeah. The party that's moving more Nazi-like. But they're anti-union, so Elon likes that.
And, some of the stuff that he ends up saying, because of...
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, yeah. I mean, he did sexually assault one of his staff. Allegedly. That one is actually allegedly. So just to make that clear.
So that is definitely
One of his fuck that. Also, his brother wasn't his brother like a friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein like got him like a nice little yeah. So not exactly connected with the nicest people, is he?
unsavory. It also means that you get a level of transparency that companies very rarely give.
The thing is, companies do this a lot, though. It's like, yes, we're transparent. See. Okay, it's just a little bit removed here, a little bit removed. It's informal. You see, it looks informal, doesn't it? It's like it's unfiltered. You just remove this a little bit here. This looks kind of bad for me, so just it's creating the impression. In fact, if a company is like very formal, this is doing, and you can see they definitely left stuff out. That's like, okay, they left stuff out, but this is more like, did you leave stuff out? Yeah, you did. No company is going to be doing that because
There's no perfectly worded corporate press releases.
But it is perfectly worded. That's the point. It's like it's formal, but also heavily edited, but made to be like that. Like all things. You see YouTube channels like, yeah, we're not corporate at all. No, this is not allowed. We can't allow it. We're not allowed. We don't do this. No. So, like, there was a reaction channel before, that was heavily scripted, and like where they would edit out stuff when they didn't like someone's opinion and all this. And it was like, oh, no, we're informal and it's honest opinion. No, it's not. It's the impression of that. It's not actually that. There is a difference. Big difference.
It's literally just, hey, we're going to try some stupid things. Some will work, some won't.
What's that sound like? Yeah. Move fast and break things. Oh, yeah, what did that policy lead to? Oh, yeah, that war in Myanmar. Oh, yeah. That killed a lot of people. It almost seems like a tech platform having massive effects on the politics around the world, and people, doing stupid things is gonna lead to deaths, actually. Wow. Looks like Elon Musk does not listen to his predecessors.
And then you actually see him try those stupid things, realize they don't work.
Yeah, like removing two-factor verification. Famously, security, we're gonna do those for other things, because why do you need... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a stupid thing, yeah. And, I guess you noticed how that was, wise. Wow, yeah. Two-factor verification, that you kind of seem concerned that you think that might even be an option.
And then fix them. Not to mention the recent Twitter file,
which were very, very disappointed into the whole far-right Republicans, like, very disappointed. Thought, yes, they censored the Hunter Biden thing. Oh, wait, no. No, actually, they didn't. No, actually. It turns out, yeah, they didn't. Wow. Well. Just the Biden committee asked to remove stuff, but just sort of like, turns out that was a bit of wrong with that one.
Which was Elon basically sharing a bunch of internal Twitter documents that showed how the previous Twitter leadership was censoring stories.
Censoring stories. Yeah, like that, the first president, I believe, to ever do a coup in their own country in America. Oh, first American president to do a coup. I mean, not the first American president to do a coup, but just the first American president to do a coup in their own country. Those stories. Yeah, the stories from the coup fella. And the Nazis. Interesting. Yeah.
Plus, he's far more present than most CEOs, actively and individually replying to customer complaints and feedback. Like, how often is it that you can complain about a massive social media corporation and then the CEO himself answers your...
Okay, first of all, like, two things. How do you know it's him? It probably is him. He's fucking addicted, but like, I'm just saying, how do you know it's him reacting to you? Like, how do you know he's just not... Okay, you deal with all the meme stuff, and I'll deal with all the like people who I like fire with a tweet, and all the, middle-aged man memes.
Call. And then there's also...
And also, second to that, I don't know why people seem to think it's a good idea to have the CEO come. Because it's like, yeah, this person say we've got a problem here. Now, solve problem. Hey, engineer. Hey, stop. They got problem. You solve the problem. You solve the problem now. You solve. Yeah, you'll solve it, right? Yeah, because they're gonna solve. Yeah, I'm solved. Yeah, gonna be solved. Yeah. What, you can't solve? You're fired. You're fired. See, you check your Twitter. Check your Twitter. You're fired. Like, see, yeah, you're fired.
Also, just the fact that nobody on this planet has a track record like Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. All I'm saying is, like, inherently, billionaires are not the people. Like, CEOs in general are not the people. CEOs are managers. Okay, that's the point of a CEO position. They're a manager. They're not an engineer. They're not the person you go to fix the problems. They're the person you go to, manage people. Now, CEOs actually negatively impact their companies as a whole. On average, CEOs actually cost their companies through, bad decision making because they're the CEO. They can't just no CEO. CEO is going to make a decision, and it's like, because of their power, it means that pretty much only a board, and even in some cases not the board, can say, actually, no, we're not doing that, which damages the company's profits. You also have the CEO taking out massive, the salaries / being demanding, shares and stuff like that, and that hurts companies. So yeah, that's just the position. CEOs are generally speaking bad, but yeah.
Does. He's built cars.
Okay. He hasn't fucking built cars. He's paid people to build cars. Actually, no. His customers have paid people to build cars. So he hasn't built any cars. Yeah, when you're in Tesla, it's like, this is made by the Musk. Yeah, he was a fella who got the doors and, panel back them and all this stuff. Yeah, he did all that stuff, yeah. He made the glass for the windscreen and put it in himself. Every single car says, made by Elon. Yeah, every single day he's working there. The fact, wait, no. What? Oh, he's not actually. What? Oh, employees and robots make the cars. Oh, wow. That's not.
He's landed rockets.
He's landed rockets, has he? Or have, rocket scientists and engineers and his employees landed rockets. Jesus Christ.
He's trying to build a human...
He's trying to build.
...brain machine
Or has he paid people to try and build?
...interface. The point being that...
And is that a good thing also?
There's no debating his intelligence.
Yeah, because he's managed to pay people. To make things. He's paid people to... What? Well, what's this argument exactly? Yeah, I mean, when you're in when you have, let's say you have someone in your basement, and you give them a bit of food and they create something really, really cool, and they require a lot of intelligence to do this. Were they the smart person? Were you the smart? Did you make that thing, or did you just pay someone to do that? Because it kind of seems like you just paid someone to do that. Like, he's not a fucking founder of Tesla. Listen to he's a founder. He's legally considered a founder, but he's not actually a founder. He's just an investor. And people could go, well, he's a savvy investor. Well, actually, technically speaking, a lot of billionaires actually hand over their investment portfolios to accountants and stuff to go, here's my pot of money. You just were to invest to make me a nice return. And they go, okay, here, how about you invest in this? And that's the point. So, what Elon Musk is a man who has a lot of money and throws it at people, and those people are the smart ones. Those people are the ones who develop technologies. In some cases, Tesla, develop technologies that kill people. Yeah, Sure. But, you know, that's sort of the point. It's like, yeah, that's not him being intelligent. That's not his intelligence. That's him having money.
And that, providing he has positive intentions, he
Like, this is a fucking stupid
He is one of the few people smart enough.
Yeah, because he can throw money at people who are, you know, people who can hire people. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's me, though, as well. That's every single person. Every single person can just go, hey, you, there, see this. This is a $250 million. You take this, right, and you go off and you pay a bunch of people to make something for me. There you go, Lee. There you are, Lee. There you are. Yeah. Go off and then you have someone make something for me. Yeah. Make it quickly as well. Oh, look at that, Lee. It's a cool Twitter. Yay. Boom. I'm so smart, guys. Like, I paid someone to hire a bunch of people, and they did. And those people did stuff. And then they made a thing. I'm kind of hyping it up more than it actually is. You know. But still, you know, I paid them, so clearly I got the smarts. I got the smarts because I hired the person who hired the person who may have actually hired the person who hired the person, you know, and so on. And those people, the final person on the chain, they made the cool stuff in a group with people who are from different backgrounds, so none of them can really claim to be the inventor, can they, though? I mean, in some cases, yes, but in most cases, a lot of these inventions are, like, for example, like, Steve Jobs, just like, yeah, you make the, I want the screen, I want the phone to be waterproof. I want it now. Yeah, I like this I like if it goes like that. No, you give, no, come on, like, just, I want that. Now you go off and make something that's nice and stuff. And of course, yeah, all the people made it. Like, CEOs are not, like, Elon Musk is not even an entrepreneur. Like, people, I reacted to him before. I made a video before. Like, he didn't actually do anything. He just had money, invested in a company, which he sold, invested his money in that into another company, and so on. Selling. And now he has quite a bit of money, and he convinced a bunch of his stupid fucking fans into investing in these companies, which gave him, you know, the position of billionaire. In case you hadn't noticed, Tesla is way overvalued, which gave him a lot of money. But the point is, if you've got a lot of money, it does not make you smart. It just means you can pay people who are smart in a particular area, and you can pay a bunch of people who are smart in a particular area, and collectively, those people can do a lot of interesting things. You know?
And with enough resources to actually be able to potentially turn Twitter around.
I don't really think you can turn Twitter around. It was bad before, and it's bad now.
But the positive intentions thing is where things start to get a little bit murky.
Yeah.
Because how much can you actually rely on that? The concept of this one guy, considered by a lot of people to be a bit of a troll anyway.
Yeah. You know, the one who endorsed Republicans.
Anyways, having complete control over arguably the center of online conversation.
You know, interestingly, he cancelled a order before for a journalist that wrote something not nice about him. Yeah. I mean, you know, maybe it would be better for him if it was just like, yeah, you still get your car. And don't you worry, I specially oversaw it being made. This one is extra strong locks and extra strong windows. Like a Cybertruck. Actually, no, not like a Cybertruck. Stronger than that, significantly. And the battery. It's all ready to go. So take it out for a spin. You know. But anyway, that's the point. Basically, yeah. Not exactly best pal, is he?
As well as your data, it raises a big question of trust. In a way, this guy has more power than any world leader on the planet,
yeah.
and
he can be paid by any world leader on the planet.
Also not afraid to use it. He's already made political recommendations.
Yeah.
Actively telling people who they should vote for. He's
literally
fired a Twitter employee for disagreeing with him in a Twitter conversation.
Yeah, no, I do say I'm wrong, and no, I'm not fired. Because I'm, yeah. Except, it's like, I think, when you make an incorrect statement and you're the CEO of a company, it's like, well, maybe don't fire the person who is aware of your incorrect statements, because they're kind of the one who is like, gonna fact check you and not be like, we should just delete the home timeline. Yeah, that's not the issue, so that won't solve it.
And then going as far as to announce that he was fired publicly as a tweet. He's put out messages like comedy is legal now, which... It does give the impression that he feels like he is a lawmaker. Now, Elon does talk a lot about free speech, and I think there's two sides to this.
See, the thing is, inevitably, the problem with saying free speech is that if your idea of free speech is just to let, Nazis just say what they want, what you're going to get is a bunch of propaganda. And Nazis are well known for having very good propaganda. So basically, if you let Nazis lie, people, they're going to be convinced. Not all of them, obviously, but a good few of them. And that's really all it takes. Once those people are convinced, then you can basically spread your Nazism across the world. And, you see this in Italy, Switzerland, Sweden, all these things. There's just, you see this in places like England, America, all these countries, all these countries, France, all these countries are moving right-wing and moving to Nazism. So, a good old push, that doesn't really look good, does it now? Does it? So I think it's best, actually, if we don't platform Nazis.
On one hand, there is a reason that moderation exists. It's to stop those at the very extreme ends of society.
It's not even the extreme ends, it's just generally, if someone is being a racist, they're being a racist, because that's the fact. Okay, can I mean this to you? If you have racism in your society that's platformed, and people see that, even if they don't want to agree with it, their mind is gonna just have this, just all the time, this racism, and I've seen this. I've seen people. This is what happens. If you have racism in your society, it doesn't matter if it starts out, the fact that it is hatred. It is hatred directed at people. It is, this is what they're like. This is it. It begins to chip away, and then slowly but surely, you start moving towards that person. And maybe you never get as far as them, but you too. Not everyone. A lot of people start moving towards the racism. Same thing with all of this pushes people further.
The people who want to incite violence, proliferate hate speech, circulate fake news.
I mean, I think all these were kind of tame in comparison to what's actually been said.
From gaining a following to reinforce their ideas upon. And so, if what he means by free speech is just to unban people who have been banned for stuff like this, then that doesn't feel like a solution that's...
Yeah, because, Nazis? You just want to unban them? Okay, well, that's how you get Nazis.
Going to end well. But then, on the other hand, if you delve into it, his policy doesn't seem to be quite as black and white as that. He's not saying that anyone can say anything and all content will be treated equally. It's more that, instead of banning an account when they go too far, this
is the thing.
Wants them to be able to say what they want to say, but just not push that message out in the algorithm. or
not free speech. It actually kind of is free speech, to be fair. Because it's like, you're free to say it, just not platform it.
place adverts on it. He wants it to always be an option to be...
Yeah, to be fair, that is free speech. Fully. To be fair, actually. That is free speech. More actually than free speech.
To look up someone's profile and for their tweets to just exist. Kind of like an internet archive of conversation. I think both sides have merit, but the one thing that Elon's free speech vision doesn't solve is someone still has to decide what's acceptable and what's not. And
well, I mean, don't be a racist.
So, is that now just Elon? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he posts that some find funny. But others find really offensive. As far as he's concerned, that's just comedy being legal now.
Yeah. How about you make the jokes to your friends? Oh, wait, what? Oh, wait, yeah. Sorry. Friends. Followers in your cult. Yeah, because friends, I don't think any of them are friends. But anyway, point is, though, basically, is that, it's bad enough if racists get together and have a nice little racist joke. Or transphobes get together and have a nice little transphobic joke. But it's not legal if you go, yeah, we want to push it in your people's faces, because that's what we want to do. Just come on, read your transphobity. Come on, have a go. Anyway, actually, in addition to that, similar to Facebook, there are also platforms right-wing people, because when I say right-wing, I mean like Nazis, a good bit when they aren't actively going for violence.
But when comedian Kathy Griffin created an account that looked like Elon Musk,
I mean, I would argue Americans are, when you have like this discussion in America where it's like, the left Democrats, it's like, well, the Democrats actually aren't left wing, if you think about it, to even the smallest extent. They're not actually left wing. What the Democrats are is not fascists. They're like conservatives. It's just that in America, the Republicans are not exactly like the Democrats. They're not a carbon copy. They're just more right wing. See what I mean? Like, the Democrats are just conservative. The Republicans are fascists to ultra conservatism. And yeah, so like they're not really a good option in America, really. So yeah, basically.
To show how the pay-to-get-verified system would just lead to misinformation, which I actually think was pretty funny. He was just like, nope, you're suspended. So where that leaves me is...
Oh yeah, wasn't there like, there was like a Elon jet something or other. It was like, where it was like tracking his airplane thing. Yeah, that got banned too.
I'm hopeful, and I'm also concerned. I think the platform has the potential to succeed under Elon, but he also has so many hurdles that he's got to climb to get there. To check out my video about what you didn't know about Tesla and Elon, that's here.
Clearly, very little about Elon, and some of the more dark things about Tesla.
I'll catch you there.
Clearly. Anyway, yeah, so that was Elon Musk and Twitter, or as it was known, what's actually happening with Twitter by Mrwhosetheboss. I did, as I said before, I believe, a video on Mrwhosetheboss, and just sort of like, they're a good tech reviewer, but clearly they're not too good when it comes to knowing about Elon Musk or Tesla, or, anything like that. Anyway, that's it. If you do want to go ahead and subscribe to them for their tech reviews, go ahead. For their opinions on, that, no. Well, actually, they're not opinions. They're just incorrect facts. But yeah. Anyway, not really the best thing. I generally do not make videos that are like 10 times what the person who originally made the content was. But a lot of things are wrong in here. And a lot of things have to be repeated. And a lot of things are going ahead there. Anyway, basically, yeah. Not the best video, very inaccurate, and unfortunate. This is what people think. Because it's wrong. So yeah, goodbye, and hopefully you'll come back next time, I guess. See ya.